Coming up, it's a Scrin Spectacular. I'll show you how to make more than just crop circles with these alien invaders, plus Garrison, who's in and who's out. And think you're too good for Command School? Think again. Top-ranked ladder players explain their own strategies in Command School honors.
I mean, come on, how sweet is that?
Cue up the explosion montage. This is Command School. You're watching Command School. I'm Greg Kasabin. Each month, I work tirelessly to bring you the best strategies, tips, and techniques. Let's kick it off with a beginner's tip for noobs only. A garrison will give a group of infantry all the protection of a structure, plus a bonus to their maximum range. And most importantly, you can't squish structures by rolling over them with a bunch of tanks. Since most structures can only hold a few units, choosing which ones to garrison is key. A good general composition is 2 anti-vehicle units, rocket squads, and so on, and 1 powerful anti-infantry, sniper teams, Black Hand, or even a commando. Each faction has 2 garrison clearing units as well. These units can instantly kill everything inside a garrison. On the infantry side, watch out for grenadiers, the Black Hand, and buzzers. For vehicles, beware of grenadiers and APCs, flame tanks, and corruptors. If you see one of these units approaching your garrison, you stand a better chance of evacuating the building and fighting them on the ground. Don't just give them the instant kill. If you're the one clearing the garrison, use the right unit for the job. Don't go charging those rockets with your flame tanks. Remember that units gain veterancy over time, so always use the right units for the job. And use those empty buildings to keep your infantry alive. But enough of that. It's time for the patent-pending Scrin Spectacular. The Scrin are known for their late-game dominance. An army of tripods and planetary assault carriers is practically unstoppable. But their early game is nothing to be ashamed of either. The Scrin are the only faction to get an anti-garrison unit right off the bat, buzzers. Plus, most of their support powers are instant, unlike Nod and GDI, who have to wait for air support. Scrin have an excellent economy potential. Great news, since they really shine in the always expensive late game. For starters, they have no limit to Tiberium gathering, so they never have to worry about Tiberium silos or anything like that. More conveniently, Scrin growth accelerators will keep those TIB fields greener longer, and they're available right away. Speaking of Tiberium, it actually heals Scrin units. One unit in particular, the Corruptor, sprays Tiberium as a weapon. That's bad news for GDI and Nod, but great news for your injured troops. Force firing a Corruptor on your units will heal them on the go. Once the Scrin get a nerve center, the most powerful air force in the game is unlocked. Scrin airships never have to return and reload, separating them from Orcas, Firehawks, and Vertigos. Plus, the Scrin Mothership and Planetary Assault Carrier, or PAC, are the only Tier 4 units in the game, requiring a signal transmitter to be built. PACs can create mobile ion storms, just like a storm column, in addition to their incredible firepower. These ion storms grant all other Scrin air forces a significant attack and defense bonus, great for helping Devastator warships demolish your enemy's base from off-screen. The Scrin also have a few abilities that are just plain fun. Their shock troopers have a long-range teleport, upgraded at the technology assembler, and their commando unit, the Mastermind, has some amazing micro potential. Unlike GDI and Nod, the Mastermind shies away from C4. Instead, he controls units and buildings. You can capture and sell to achieve that same C4 effect, or you can use the enemy structure against the enemy. Try capturing a barracks, cranking out a bunch of engineers, and taking over the entire enemy base. Don't forget to try the wormhole support power as well. This lets you send an unlimited stream of units at your opponent. And then there's the Mothership, but more on that in a little while. So give these fun-loving aliens a chance. If you can make it to the late game, I guarantee you'll like what you see. Now, it's time to check out the game-ending explosions montage. Each faction has its own super weapon. The Rift Generator for the Scrin, the Ion Cannon for GDI, and the Nuke for the Nod. The Rift Generator is the only instant cast weapon, meaning it's really useful against enemy armies as well as structures. Oftentimes, wiping out an entire army is much more devastating than taking out a few structures. The Ion Cannon is the least effective super weapon against armies, as it gives away its location before dealing full damage. But the Shockwave Artillery is a GDI support power that doesn't give away its location so much. Not only does this ability deal damage, it also uses an EMP power to power down vehicles and structures. Nod has the most endgame base killers, the Nuke, Catalyst Missile, and Tiberium Vapor Bomb. The Catalyst is especially good against enemy refineries, and the Tiberium Vapor Bomb, while expensive, can severely damage or destroy most enemy structures. All of these abilities, coupled with a few stealth Vertigos, can lay waste to almost any base. Of course, so can a bunch of avatars, especially since there are health and damage buffs in the 1.09 update. One of the most fun and difficult endgame units has to be the Skrin Mothership. It's incredibly fragile, moves very slowly, and has a 5-second charge period before firing, during which it's completely vulnerable. But if you manage to get it over your opponent's base intact, the Catalyst Cannon has limitless destructive potential. Each explosion triggers another within a radius, meaning it could clear out an entire map. If your opponent used base creeping to reach his expansion field, all you need to do is take out the farthest building, and in a domino reaction, he'll be wiped off the playing field. And now it's time to introduce a new segment for you hardcore players out there. If you think you're too elite for my lessons, maybe you should teach the class. It's time for Command School Honors, where we let members of the top-ranked CNC Elite show us their stuff. To get your strat featured on Command School Honors, email a replay with voice commentary to commandschool@ea.com. If you make the grade, maybe you can come to the head of the class. Tonight's strategy was submitted by Necron. It's a little number he calls the Ultimate Shadow Team Rush. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Necron. I'm playing Nod in the bottom right corner here. Now I'm a player who doesn't like to get predictable, so apart from mostly playing random, I also like to mix in a crazy all-or-nothing strat once in a while. One of which I'll be showing you today, my Ultimate Shadow Team Rush. In the top left corner, I'm facing Pop 770, who will be performing the classic Shadow Team Rush. So he'll only train 2 from his barracks, and get 2 from the support power, and he'll combine those with the 1 he gets for selling his secret shrine. This will get him 5 shadow teams, not coincidentally the number needed to destroy a refinery or a war factory. I, however, plant down a second barracks right after building the secret shrine. I build 4 shadow teams from the first barracks, and then 3 from the second. Combining that with shadow teams from the support power and the 1 I also get for selling my shrine, brings my total up to 10. Oh, by the way, before I forget, I like to set those barracks on no attack stance, because the shadows may otherwise give themselves away, and this tactic relies fully on surprise. Now, in the meantime, his shadow teams are about to arrive in my base just as I finish gathering up my strike force. Now I will just spam the occasional power plant and anti-infantry just to keep his shadow teams busy. In the meantime, my shadow teams are going to his base. One thing that's important, do not get detected. Okay, now here comes the brilliance of the strategy. We start the game by bombing the hell out of your opponent's MCV. I mean, come on, how sweet is that? And the shadow teams are not being very useful at my base either. They keep destroying the occasional power plant, but they're not actually useful. I just keep them busy. This is the real difference, by the way, between my Ultimate Shadow Team Rush and the classic one. The classic one only goes for harassment, hoping to come out on top of the investment of the shadow teams, while my Ultimate Shadow Team Rush goes straight for the jugular. And now after clearing up the MCV, basically all that's left for me is to clean up what he's got left. As you can see, my Ultimate Shadow Team Rush clearly beats the classic one in this match, but be careful though. Some stealth detection and a single anti-infantry vehicle or turret can completely destroy your effort if you're not careful.
Thank you, Necron. Before we go, it's time for the GameReplays.org Tip of the Week.
The Tip of the Week, brought to you by GameReplays.org.
Here's a few helpful hints for microing your forces we like to call the rules of engagement. First, focus your fire. This one's important. Make sure that your units fire upon a single target at a time, because the quicker you can take down individual units, the less damage you'll receive. Try to pick off those units with the most firepower and least amount of armor first. Pay special attention to what's killing your units the quickest and unload on them. And always kick them when they're down. Target those units that have already been damaged. In order to see which units are ripe for the picking, bring up health bars by pressing Control and the tilde key. It's the key next to the number 1. Check out more tips at GameReplays.org. Well, that about does it for this month's Command School, so go sharpen your Skrin skills, own your micro, and try out those game enders. Dev-tested, player-approved. For Command School, I'm Greg Kasabin. Watch new episodes the second Thursday of every month, only at commandandconquertv.com.